Hello, today we will be covering how to do data analysis in Excel. Firstly, we're going to clean and transform the data. Then later on, we're going to use the data analysis tool that is present within Excel to perform quick statistical analysis. Then from there on, we're going to use the charting tool within Excel to see what our data has to offer. And lastly, we will be using pivot tables to make sure that we have dynamic reporting. This is me, Arsalan, and you're watching Growth Mindset. Now, once we are in our data set, we want to make some modification to the data set and clean it also. So initially, I will press Ctrl T for making a table. And here, my table header has been checkmarked. So I will press OK. Now we have the data table over here. We have initially day, month number, and year column. But I want all of these columns combined into one column. That is, I want the date in one column. So I will be clicking over here on the product column, right click and insert column over here. This is going to be the date column. So I name it date and use the date function. I write date, press tab. First argument is going to be the year, second month number, third the day. Close the bracket and press enter. And here I have the date. Next, moving on to the product column, I can see over here that there is unnecessary spaces in between and the product names are not appearing appropriately. So again, I click over here, right click on my mouse, insert column, and here I write equals to trim, trim, press tab and select the cell next to it in the product column, close the brackets and press enter. So here we can see that we have the product names in pretty good shape. And moving on to the next column, here I can see that the country name and the city name are appearing in single column, but I want the country name in separate column and the city name in another column. Here again, we will be inserting the column, and for that I'll be selecting by pressing Ctrl Shift and down arrow key. Now I go in the data tab, and here text to column, there are two options, delimited and fixed width. I will go with delimited next, and in other we will have a check mark. We put a dash over here, and in the preview we can see on the basis of the dash it has separated. For example, if I delete the dash over here, you can see that both of the names, that is the city name and the country name, are appearing in one cell. But if I put a dash over here, so it separates it. I press on next and then finish, and here it has separated the country name and the city name in two different columns. I name this as city. Quantity sold, well, I want quantity sold to be in nearest 10. So how we can do that? Again, we insert another column over here, and here I will be using round function. Press tab, select this, put a comma, -1 for nearest 10, close the bracket and press enter. And here I have the quantity sold in nearest 10. Unit price, revenue, cost, and profit seems okay to me. Now, before deleting some of the columns, what I will be doing is that I will be removing the formulas. So I will press Ctrl A while being in the data table, and it selects all of the data. Once the data has been selected, I will press Ctrl C and then press right click, go in paste special and paste as values. So now all of the formulas have been pasted as values, and I press escape, finish the copying. Here we have some additional columns, so I will be deleting some of the columns. I have date over here, so we don't need year, month number, month and day columns. I can select all of these columns and press shift and down arrow key, right click over here, go and deleting the table columns, delete it like this. And we don't need the product column as well, because this one has the product names as well, because there was some extra spacing. So we use the trim function over here to make it correct. So again, I will be pressing shift control down arrow key, right click, and we can delete table column. And we can name this as product name, country, city, quantity sold also needs to be deleted. So we can click over here, right click and delete it. unit price, revenue, cost, and profit. And here we have data set which has been cleaned and modified. Now once our data has been cleaned and modified, we are going to do some statistical analysis. So here for that, while being in the data tab, we can see that we don't have the data analysis option over here. First, we are going to see that how we can activate this option. We go in the file options, and here in add-ins, we will go for the analysis toolpath, press go, and again check mark this analysis toolpath, press OK. And now we can see that we have data analysis option appearing over here. I click onto this option. I have different options as well. For this time, I will be going with descriptive statistics. Press OK. And now it is asking for the input range. We will be selecting the input range from another sheet that was the original data set. So we will be going with the quantity sold, and I am pressing Ctrl Shift and down arrow key to select whole of the quantity sold column, and here I can give output range. So for that I want it over here, and I will be check marking all of these options, and now I press OK. It is giving me an error. Descriptive statistics input range contains non-numeric data. I press OK, and here we can see that we have labels in first row. This is not check marked, but while selecting the data over here in the input range, I have selected this text also, the quantity sold. So I will be check marking this, and now I press OK, and now it is giving me the statistical data. And go in the home tab, increase the font size a bit, and here I have all of the data appearing over here. Just make it like this. So we have a mean of 20,000, standard error 74.6, median 20,000, mode. So it is giving different things, minimum values, maximum values, sum, count, largest, smallest. So we have different statistical options appearing over here, and we didn't have to apply different formulas. We just went in the data analysis and it has given us the data analysis. Now for example, if we are in our data set, we can go in the insert option, and here if I select the quantity sold column, and then I go for the charts over here in the insert tab, and I go for the box and whiskers. So it has made the chart for me. I can cut this chart by pressing Ctrl X, and I will place it over here. Now while we are interpreting the box plot contains this part. The first beginning is the first quartile. Over here, this is the third quartile. The line in between is the mean. Here we have minimum and maximum range, and here we can see that we have few of the plots appearing over here. So these are the outliers. This data currently is not very much descriptive, so we're going to click in the plot area, right click, and here we can just select the data. Now we're going to go in edit, and again we go in the data set. So on the basis of the country, we will be exploring further that what it shows and where the outliers lie. You press Shift Control and down arrow key, press OK, and again OK. Just click over here, make it more prominent, hold it a bit, again this one too. Now it is showing that we have the outliers in quantity in the country USA, whereas all of the data is pretty much consistent, but we have some big orders over here, so we have the outliers in the quantity. Now I want to further explore that in USA, in which products these outliers lie. I click over here, select data, edit data, and rather than selecting the country, this time I will be selecting the product name. I select all of the product by placing my cursor in the first cell, and Shift Control down arrow key, press OK, and then another OK. Now we can see from this chart that the fish burger, the breakfast platter, and French toast tips had some big orders, and that orders were placed in USA. So we can make a statistical and graphical analysis like this. Now for further analyzing, we will be using the pivot tables. Let's move towards the pivot tables. Now we will be creating interactive pivot table where we will be seeing sales and profit by country and products with pivots. So for that, we're going to go in the Insert tab, and here we will be clicking on Pivot Tables. First, it is asking for the table range. I go in the data set, click on the data table, press Ctrl A, All of the data has been selected. I press OK, and here I can build my pivot table. So for that, I will be selecting product in rows, and then I want to see the quantity sold that I will be placing in values, and then I want to see the profit that I earned out of each category of the burgers that have been sold. I can do some formatting over here, select all of the data, go in the home tab, put a comma, remove the decimals, change the names, quantity sold, delete all this, press one time spacebar, and for profit, again I deleted all, press one time spacebar. For this column profit, I can just select all, right click on my mouse, format cells, go in currency, symbol, dollar, press OK. And here also I press F2 and category, press enter. Now I want data bars over here. So I will be bringing in profit once more and placing it in between quantity and profit. Once I have this, I can go in conditional formatting, click on data bars, and now I can select these data bars. Here it gives me an option, so I will click on this. All cells showing sum of profit values, I'll click on this, and now it is showing me data bars. I again go in the conditional formatting, go in manage rules, and here I will edit rules, and I don't want to see in this column all of these numbers appearing. I just want the data bars. So I will click on this checkbox, show bars only, press OK, apply, press OK. And here in this pivot table, I don't want these grand totals. And now I go in the design tab and click on the grand total and switch off the grand total row. So we can see over here that the data bars are appearing more appropriately. Moreover, we can change the pivot table style. I will go with this option. And here one more thing, we can just analyze this with the countries as well. So I will be going in the pivot table fields over here, and we have countries over here. I right click over here, add a slicer. Want this slicer to be a little sleek, so I will be going in options over here. I want 2 columns of this. Just drag it from here, use the size from here. And here now we can see that the slicer has been attached to this pivot table. If I click USA, it is showing me data of USA. If I want to make multiple selections, I can click on this, select this and this, and now it is showing me the data of USA, France and UAE. If I want to clear all of the filters and see all of the data, so I can click over here and it is showing me all of the data. Now we have seen the cleaning and modifying of the data table in our first sheet. Then we moved on to statistical analysis, and we saw how we can use the data analysis tool that is built in within Excel. So we made all of this, and we made a box plotting and explored that how we can analyze our data. And lastly, we use the pivot table, formatting the pivot tables and using the slicers to make it more interactive. Well, if you liked the content, then make sure that you hit the like button and leave your comments down below in the comment section. Your comments act as a navigation tool, so make sure that you add your comments. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Take care and bye-bye.